Welcome, Born Winner. Stay with me as we expand our knowledge with videos from all over the internet that's going to make you question reality. Let's just start.
There's people that have made observations. The fence, so every airport has a big old fence around it with barbed wire fence. And the barbed wire usually sticks out towards people that would come in, kind of like that angle.
Yeah.
But at the Denver airport, it's switched to where it would be, in theory, people trying to get out of the airport.
Weird.
Like prison angle.
Yeah.
So that throws off all the
Prison
ideas.
angle?
There's some wacky
Give
conspiracies.
us one.
Like Pizzagate happens there.
One is that at the bottom layer of this airport, they have imprisoned the reptilians.
That's one of my most
Well,
favorite
listen.
things.
This is crazy. So
That explains the barbed wire.
Everyone knows reptiles can't climb over barbed wire.
this is what's crazy. The CEO, they're so tired of people being like, what does this mean? Why did you do this? Why is the airport this big? One of their runways is 3 miles long.
Yeah.
Which is like,
Spaceship.
it's 3 times as long as a normal aircraft.
Yeah, and I know they sometimes do that for like space shuttles because like you
Well,
get
it'd
like
be
clearance for certain. They only have a certain amount of airports they can land.
But it's
in.
perfect for military vehicles.
Yeah.
Or military planes and stuff.
Not just Mary was impregnated by God, but her cousin Elizabeth at the same time also gets a baby by Holy Spirit. And when Mary goes to see Elizabeth and says, I was told by Gabriel I'm going to have God's baby, and Elizabeth goes, don't worry, honey, he said the same thing to me. I'm also pregnant. And then Elizabeth gives birth to St. John the Baptist, who was miraculously conceived. St. John the Baptist, there were cults that he was the real Messiah and Jesus was a scapegoat or a cover-up, because St. John the Baptist was miraculously conceived according to literature, and there were cults about him.
Really? I never hear that.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
So I read this book, it called Be Your Future Self Now, and my mind was blown. And the reason why my mind was blown, because in the book it was talking about how many people are too busy living their life in the now, they're not planning for the future versions of them. And as a result of them not planning for the future versions of them, the future versions of them are going to have to pay for the version of them now that they're not willing to pay for the future version of them.
This makes
And in the
total
book,
sense.
just like credit cards, things have interest. So $100 problem now could be thousands of dollars later. $1,000 problem now could be tens of thousands of dollars later. A $10,000 problem now could be hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars later, all because you weren't willing to plan for your future self now. So my question to you is, if you're watching this, what's your 10-year plan? Because when you're clearing your 10-year plan, you can do a 5-year plan. When you're clearing a 5-year plan, you can do a 3-year plan. When you're clearing your 3-year plan, you can do a 1-year plan. When you're clearing your 1-year plan, you can do a 6-month plan. When you're clearing your 6-month plan, you can do a 3-month plan. When you clear your 3-month plan, you can start planning your life weekly because it all aligns with your 10-year goals. Hit that follow, baby. Let's go.
If you want to understand what Elon Musk is doing now to the federal government, all you have to do is look at what he did at Twitter.
In October 2022, Elon Musk bought Twitter for $44 billion and molded it in his own image.
He focused on mass layoffs, on reducing real estate footprint, and on pushing employees to resign so that he could cut back on payroll and real estate costs.
Now he's taking those same tactics to the US government.
Just look at the email that the federal government recently sent to its workers, offering them a buyout to leave the government.
It echoed a
What?
similar
A
message
buyout
that Elon
to
Musk
leave the
sent to Twitter
government?
employees in November 2022 with the exact same subject line.
Musk uses a approach to his businesses called zero-based budgeting. He's now started to use that tactic in government and say basically government spending needs to come down to zero and line items need to be added back one at a time.
And some of the same people that Elon Musk used during his Twitter takeover are now being deployed to help cut costs at the federal level. So it's worth asking, how successful were Elon Musk's tactics in reducing costs at Twitter? While he's cut costs in slashing back budgets, in reducing headcount by around 80% of people, corresponding revenue has also gone down.
Its valuation per investors has declined significantly from the $44 billion that Musk paid for the company in 2022. And what happened to those who were laid off is that they were denied some of the severance that they were owed, and they're now suing to recoup that money.
So this all begs the question, should the federal government be treated like a private company? The federal government doesn't have shareholders. It's not operated necessarily at a profit. But there are constituents, and those constituents rely on the services like Medicare or Social Security on a day-to-day basis.
You often see Musk portray himself as someone with a big mission that he needs to save humanity by going to Mars. He needs to save free speech by taking over Twitter. He needs to save America by dismantling the federal government.
This was a fork in the road
of human civilization.
But very little concern or care for the individual workers who are sort of getting caught in the grist of these takeovers.
I figured it out. This is what they're going to do when the mark of the beast comes. They're going to create an economy that is failing, where everyone is struggling, where the pay at jobs are so low, where the government isn't helping out anybody else, where we have a homeless epidemic, where no one wants to have kids anymore because they can't afford it, where in order to get an apartment, you got to make 3 or 4 times the rent. The housing market, let's not even talk about it. Groceries, people can't afford to eat. And if they do afford to eat, they can't eat what they actually want to eat. They just eat what they can eat to survive because it's too expensive. They are going to wait until we are in a recession. And I don't mean just a United States recession, I mean a world recession, where everyone is in complete desperation and panic and they need a savior. Everything will have to be downhill. The Antichrist is not coming when everything is good. The Antichrist is coming when everything is bad. And when I say everything, I mean everything also monetarily is bad. And so whenever this guy comes and he offers everybody anything that they could ever want, any type of money, everyone's going to jump at it because we're going to be in desperation mode. I want you to think about the way humans act when their back is against the wall. Now, you mean to tell me that I can receive all the riches and everything like that? I can get whatever I want if I just take this mark? Yeah, I'll do it. How many people you think are going to say that? Probably the majority of people. There's nothing worse than humans who are desperate, okay? And so they're trying to create desperation in all of people so they can bring in this savior of the world. And so they're trying to bring in this guy who's going to appear to be the savior of the world. He's going to save you from your financial hardships. While the mark of the beast will be a lot of things, I think the biggest part of the mark of the beast, that's why it says you won't be able to buy or sell. The biggest part of the mark of the beast is going to play on people's desperation for financial gain. And so because of the desperation that people are going to have, people can't afford to eat, people can't afford to buy a place to live, people can't afford to go places, people can't afford to get things that they want. So if the mark of the beast is promising you all these good things in a time in your life where you are desperate, God forbid, but you are going to accept it. That's what they're banking on. They're banking on humans' desperation equaling you accepting the mark of the beast and worshiping the beast in his image.
So apparently Bashar is missing. And who is Bashar, you might ask? Well, it's this guy.
Oh, yeah.
He's an alien. Actually, the guy's name is Daryl Anka. And Daryl Anka channels an alien named Bashar from a different dimension, I believe. Different planet for sure. And he channels them, yeah, and he goes around and he gives these like seminars and he answers questions about, human life and everything because he's channeling an alien, so the alien knows everything and all the secrets of the universe. Now, one time, it was super crazy, somebody asked Bashar about the US election. So he made a prediction and he basically says what he thinks or what will happen if they had elected Kamala or if they elect Trump. Here's what he said.
Are you willing to take responsibility for what we are about to say? Be sure the answer is yes.
Yes.
All right. This is what we are allowed to say. The female will lead to open contact. The male will lead to the termination of the United States and World War III.
What?
Now, I was first introduced to Bashar on TikTok. And before I knew he was an alien, or channeling an alien, I actually thought he was a motivational speaker of sorts, or a life coach of sorts, because he offers some of the greatest life advice you can possibly imagine.
That. That's true.
It's so helpful. It's so good. It makes so much sense. It's very smart, very intelligent. So imagine my surprise when I found out, well, it's actually just an alien being channeled, it wasn't a life coach or anything. But if you know me at all, you know I do not believe in anything like that. I know Daryl Anka's just a guy. I'm aware of that, okay? But some of the stuff he says is so good. If I was gonna believe in something crazy, it would be this. I don't believe that he's an alien, but I wish he was. And I hope people listen to him. as you know, the advice he gives is wonderful. And supposedly he's missing. I saw this post the other day on TikTok where this girl was saying, what happened to Bashar? Where's Bashar? But I think I found him.
White House says that you will identify and excuse yourself from any conflicts of interest that you may have. Does that mean that you are in effect policing yourself? What are the checks and balances that are in place to...
It's quite possible that Elon Musk is now channeling Bashar. But the thing is, if so, that's a wonderful thing. That's a wonderful thing, because Bashar has nothing but good intentions. Elon Musk, on the other hand, and much more likely, does not.
Who is the richest YouTuber in 2025? The answer will shock you. Watch till the end. Brent Rivera, Lily Singh, Guava Juice Roy Fabito, Ethan Klein, Rhett James McLaughlin.
Why is all of them
Link
20,
Neal,
20, 20, 20,
Lucas
20?
Adrian Houchard, Squeezy, Felipe Nato, Zach King, James Charles, Andre Rebello, Typical Gamer, Mark Robber, Trisha Paytas, Evan Fong, Vanos Gaming. Smash that like button if you want to be rich like them. Who's your favorite YouTuber on this list? Comment below. Preston, The Royalty Family, Daniel Robert Middleton, Dan TDM, Mark Rober, Nathan Johnson Graham, Unspeakable, Emma Chamberlain, Jelle van Vugt, Russell Brand, Marquez Brownlee, Darman, Technical Guruji, Matt Rife, Fede Vigavani, Nick DiGiovanni, Jimmy Fallon, Alejo Igoa, Ryan Kaji.
What? Logan Paul
Jeffree
has money
Star.
more than Jake Paul?
Vlad and Nikki, Jimmy Donaldson,
Oh, Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast,
Real footage from Dragon Records from Time Traveler. But where's the wings? How is it moving like
The
this
more
in the,
advanced a
in the air?
civilization became, the less they put the work into recording that. There's not a single writing left behind from Atlantis. They didn't do cuneiform writing into stones. They probably had paper, and they probably had digital records.
Digital.
The reason I say that is that we've found some really weird artifacts in the Mediterranean over the last 100 years. There was an artifact found off of Greece that has mechanical components in it that don't make sense.
This is the one Michio Kaku talked about. This was down at the bottom of the Mediterranean.
That's it. Thank you.
Around 1900 or so, there was a shipwreck off the coast of Greece, and divers found an instrument encrusted in coral. It looked like a piece of junk, but when they cleaned it, they realized, no, it's a machine that is 2,000 years old. Then they took x-rays of it, and they realized it's a computer that was supposed to be a gift to Julius Caesar. But the ship sunk, and it was there at the bottom of the Mediterranean for 2,000 years.
Whoa.
The devil is not the devil. The devil is narcissistic energy.
Yeah.
And the energy is one energy. As in, they're all connected to narcissism the way that we are connected to God.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
So
Like
I
the
don't think...
Demogorgon.
Right, I don't think they can escape because they don't want to.
It's like empaths are born from the light, from heaven, from God, and then narcissists are born from the earth, from the devil, from narcissism.
It's attached to them when they come in.
Make America great again. My comment is, do you accept that that could possibly be construed as a racist remark? And most people, a lot of people go, how could that be racist? Make America great again? I said, so just ask yourself from an African-American experience, when was it ever great in America for the African-American? When was it great? So if you're making it great again, it's not including them.
I apologize for showing you this video because what you're about to witness is that they've been lying to us this whole time.
Obviously,
the fact that
they
no
always
one
lie
else is
to us.
talking about this video and knowing that 99% of you won't be able to stomach it, I have to show you. Michael Jackson is so great. He had people faint just by looking at him. True, his legacy is just undeniable. The things that he did for pop, hence why people look at him as the person that completely changed the game and is world renowned as the king of pop. But then everything changed when in the middle of a commercial with Pepsi, we all noticed that his hair caught on fire. The world was devastated.
that's
But what
right.
if those events were a lot more severe than you could ever imagine? And the truth that they covered up to us just goes to show that we don't know what's going on in Hollywood and that there's things that are far darker than we could ever imagine.
With Michael being burnt, right? Michael Jackson disappeared for a while. And it's funny, in the midst of all of that, of Michael Jackson being quote-unquote missing, tell me why they host a Michael Jackson lookalike contest and had it on TV. A Michael Jackson
Lookalike contest?
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. It's crazy.
Good afternoon, I'm Diane Macedo. We're coming on the air right now with some breaking news now. Buckingham Palace has just issued a statement in reaction to that tell-all interview.
Buckingham Palace has always been a symbol of grandeur and tradition, but a recent FBI investigation has shaken its very foundation. What was supposed to be routine scrutiny quickly turned into a shocking discovery, exposing hidden secrets that even the most loyal royal supporters never saw coming.
Inside the 300-year-old palace, which the royals say needs a lot of work.
Something was found behind the palace's gilded walls, something so astonishing that it sent ripples through the highest circles of power. What did the FBI uncover that left the world in disbelief? Stay with us as we reveal the unsettling truth. Secrets behind the grand walls of Buckingham Palace. It may come as a surprise that hidden within the towering walls of Buckingham Palace are revelations so shocking that, had they emerged from any source other than the FBI, they would have been dismissed outright. These astonishing discoveries have been closely guarded, shrouded in secrecy, and concealed from the public eye. But before we uncover these startling truths, let's take a step back in time and explore how Buckingham Palace came to be. Situated in the heart of London, Buckingham Palace stands as a breathtaking symbol of history, tradition, and power. Tourists from all corners of the world flock to witness its grand architecture, marvel at the changing of the guard, and admire the elegance of its meticulously maintained gardens. Yet, beneath its regal facade lies a story of transformation, one that dates back over 3 centuries. Originally known as Buckingham House, the estate was constructed in 1703 by John Sheffield, the Duke of Buckingham, as his private residence. In 1761, King George III acquired the property for his wife, Queen Charlotte, and over the decades, additional wings and lavish expansions turned it into a true royal palace. By the 1800s, it had become the official residence of British monarchs, symbolizing the nation's rich heritage and evolving grandeur. The palace itself is an architectural masterpiece, its pristine white stone exterior radiating a regal and imposing presence. Inside, the splendor is even more mesmerizing, with 775 rooms, including opulent halls, grand bedrooms, and exquisite dining quarters. The palace is a world of unparalleled luxury. One of its most iconic features is the balcony overlooking the Mall, where members of the royal family step out to wave to the public on momentous occasions. Beyond its dazzling halls, Buckingham Palace is home to one of the most celebrated British traditions, the changing of the guard. Each day, soldiers in striking red uniforms and towering bearskin hats march in perfect synchronization to the sound of a military band. This timeless display of discipline and pageantry draws crowds from around the world, serving as a testament to the enduring customs of the British monarchy. But behind the palace's public grandeur lies a hidden world, one that few outsiders truly understand. Spanning 39 acres, the Buckingham Palace Gardens are the largest private gardens in London, a lush oasis filled with vibrant flowers, serene lakes, and towering ancient trees. This secluded paradise plays host to exclusive royal events, where guests sip tea under the shade of historic oaks, shielded.
Freemasons worship a secret god, and this is the name of him. I'm going to decode the symbolism so you can understand it. This represents God's consciousness, and it streams down to 4 sections for the 4 bodies of God. A lion, a bull, a man, and an eagle. These are the 4 fixed signs of the zodiac. Taurus the bull, Leo the lion, Scorpio the eagle, Aquarius the man. You see this in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. The man, the eagle, the lion, and the bull surrounding Jesus. The 4 fixed signs represent the 4 bodies of consciousness. Aquarius is an air symbol, which is the mind. Taurus is an earth sign, which is the body. Leo is a fire sign, which is the spirit. Scorpio is a water sign, which is the emotion. This is God's consciousness streaming down to Yahweh. Yahweh, the name of God, means I am. God's consciousness goes to I am. I am goes into the 4 bodies of your consciousness. The body, the mind, the spirit, and emotion. Every single one of us are an extension of the divine presence of the universe. Jesus actually represents you, a manifestation of God's consciousness. Stop worshipping Jesus and embody his qualities into your life so you can live like God. The church has just muddled this up and created a religion so you give away your power. The secret God of the Freemasons is the self. This is why they all focus on self-mastery to achieving high states of consciousness.
I mean, the truth of the matter is actually Trump hasn't gotten a lot. He's torn some stuff down. There's no law that he's passed that is transformative in this country.
Self-driving bus in China? I'm not surprised, man. This is so cool.
Although we weren't able to shatter that highest, hardest glass ceiling this time, thanks to you, it's got about 18 million cracks in it.
18 million cracks?
And the light is shining through like never before, filling us all with the hope and the sure knowledge that the path will be a little easier next time.
Why is no one talking about the stranded research team in Antarctica that has recently started to attack each other? There is this research team that are in these compounds from 1956. They look like storage container, and they are in Antarctica in one of the coldest locations, and they are isolated, and they have just begun to basically attack each other. To the point, one of them is sending a distressed email saying they need to remove someone, but they can't because they're trapped, they're isolated, there's no getting out. This team of scientists is trapped at an isolated Antarctica base for 10 months. One of them just attacked and threatened others. They are currently stationed at a remote base in the continent in freezing temperatures and high wind mileage. Well, apparently one of these motherfuckers went rogue and attacked a fellow colleague. That colleague then sent an email saying that they need to get this man out of here and they are deeply disturbed. That he's also behaving in another deeply disturbing manner. I could tell you stories about what's behind the Antarctic wall and why those researchers are really there. That scientist is going rogue for a reason, and I'm interested to see what happens because they cannot leave or go get them. And what's even crazier is that one who's going rogue is sending out death threats and assaulting the other members. Who's going to tell them that they were the experiment? I am going to be following this story, so follow me because something tells me something else is going to go down and they're all going to go rogue. What the fuck did they discover out there to make them start to go crazy?
A positive mindset shift that will change your life this year. Every time you catch yourself saying, I have to, change it to, I get to. When you notice yourself in low, complaining, annoyed, ungrateful energy, I have to, get yourself back into positive, vibrant, light, grateful energy. I get to. This will change any scenario so quickly, and all you've done is change some very, very simple language.
Another subject which is interesting and very relevant today is a symbol called the fasci, or the fasces. On the back of an American dime, you will see a bundle of sticks tied together, and it has an axe head with it. And this is an ancient Etruscan symbol that was adopted by the Roman Empire to symbolize Rome's power. It's an old ancient Etruscan symbol, very important to the Roman Empire. Rome said, ancient Rome's philosophy was, if it's just one stick, you can beat somebody with a stick, but it's not going to hurt them really. But if you got 2 or 3 sticks, now it's going to be a little bit heavier deal. But if you get 5 or 6 sticks and tie them together as one, now you've got serious strength. Now when you beat somebody with 6 or 8 sticks tied together, that's serious. And so then they put a hatchet head on it because an axe head always represented in almost all the ancient cultures of the world accepted that the axe head represented the presence of God. God was the great hatchet. He's giving you the axe. And so the hatchet head represented God, and the bundle of sticks represented a coalition of troops. So when Rome would go into to another country to overtake it, they would take troops from this group and troops from that group and put them all together. Now you've got a strong force, not just Roman. And so that's when we hear today, when we hear the presidents talking about during the Middle East, they have a coalition of countries, not just America. We have other countries with us.
Everything is hidden in a plain sight. Words, signs, laws, it is in front of your eyes. If you want to understand it, to see how they enslaved us, this ebook will literally unveil for you everything you need to know. Age of belief is over. Age of knowing has begun.
Basically saying that the U.S. and possibly other governments have unlimited clean energy.
Sure.
Using alien technology.
Well, not the U.S. government that's constitutional, but the secret government does.
Okay.
There are two governments.
Right.
At least two.
Right. So what they're saying, well, what you're saying is that if this was actually uncovered, all of these industries would collapse in one day.
Well,
but it would benefit the Earth.
Here's the thing. And I was on a show, Patrick David has a show.
Yeah, I know Patrick. I interviewed him.
And this came up in that interview. I said, look, if someone came in right now and put on that table one of these 0 point or free energy devices, to get it from that phase to where it's being manufactured, mass manufacturing, to replace the 1.5 billion motor vehicle engines in the world, and to provide all the energy for 2.5 billion homes on the planet, plus all the hundreds of millions of businesses, factories, that's going to be 15, 20 years. If you did it like the Marshall Plan that rebuilt Europe after World War II. So it's not as if there isn't going to be a transition, because just logistically, it's not possible to make it happen all at once. But it would eventually cause the elimination of the need for all fossil fuels, nuclear, wind, solar, geothermal, hydroelectric dams. All of it would be obsolete. Now, my argument is that should have happened 100 years ago. That's why we did the documentary, The Lost Century, right? Now, the most recent documentary we released is called Battle for Disclosure. And if you look at Battle for Disclosure, that deals with some of this as well, because the big question is going to be, do we do a real honest disclosure or sort of a fake one, light one? Because an honest one is going to include the man-made. I mentioned this earlier. That's a bigger secret than the non-human.
This was just so sad to watch. And the statement that there's never a trio, there's always a duo, and that duo secretly hates the third person, it's always true. There's always gonna be a bond that's greater between the three. I just didn't expect it from her. Or her. Like, you could watch the video and feel the energy and the nervousness in T. Picking her nails, her like just being quiet, like awkward. Then you have these two. Just giggling, laughing, while some man's like making fun of her. And trust me, I thought of the scenario in all different ways. I know me, I can go from laughing to I'm like, wait, what did you just say? And read my friend's face to feel like they're awkward. But it's just the fact that they just kept laughing and like inviting that man to continue making jokes. Gigi really surprised me, because I saw a video of a photographer trying to take a picture, and the minute he took the picture, she walked off like and gave a look like and I was just like, wait, like I did not expect this type of energy from her. And as I'm reading the comments, and it reads, now we know Kayla Nicole was for sure not the problem, and also a lot of hate comments. I'm like, wait, she had a fight with Kayla Nicole? All I know this girl is from the fact that she's Kai Cenat's girlfriend. And I fear it goes to show, when you're a streamer or you're always putting yourself online, people watching you pick up social cues. So many people are talking about how weird the energy between Gigi and Brooklyn were for this girl. Basically telling this girl, these are not your friends, they don't care about you, they're not going to protect you, they are making fun of you, and you are probably an inside joke for them. Because the energy in that Rolling Loud thing it was loud. It was loud. Like I said, I'm still like, at this point, I just can't believe it. I don't believe it. And I don't even know these people. But just that, the energy off of that video, like, And mind you, I'm only reacting because I've seen like 20 videos of people talking about this. And everybody painting, you know, Gigi and Brooklyn as bullies. Maybe next time you should learn to defend your friend instead of laughing like you heard the joke of the century. Y'all not that girlfriend. The whole Frost family is weird. This is why Mel got away from them. I liked you, but please don't project no insecurities on that beautiful girl, because if you want to be real, TT made that group shine. I don't like you no more, boo. And I'm just like, I just didn't expect it. But what do you guys think? Do you think they were that girl's friend? Do you think they're tripping? Do you think people are tripping?
My mother didn't know that King James was King of England. She just thought God sent him here to write this. She didn't know King James was such a weird, strange homosexual. He hated
Oh, really?
so bad he killed his mother.
Oh!
His lover was Buckingham Palace. Who Buckingham Palace? His name was, his lover was Lord Buckingham, who Buckingham Palace is named after. Oh, come on now.
She's lifted her lamp by our golden shore for nearly a century and a half now. A French politician is calling on the U.S. to say bon voyage to the Statue of Liberty. Raphael Glucksmann says, we gave it to you as a gift, but apparently you despise it, so it will be just fine here at home. The politician's request was apparently triggered by President Trump's position on the Ukraine-Russia conflict. The French gifted the Statue of Liberty, as you know, to the U.S. back in 1884 and has become a beacon of freedom for all of us and all over the world ever since.
Hi, I want to talk about this. This is what the seal of the United States is supposed to look like. Eagle always faces the olive branches to show we are looking toward peace, but we're prepared for war. This was on the news. Eagle's facing the arrows. And just because I know there are people with an IQ that low, it's not because it's flipped on the camera. Please don't say that, because then the branches would be on that side. Okay, just clarify. What you're looking at is this. Because the United States seal wasn't specified which way it should flip and exactly how this banner should look, Harry Truman, actually, after World War II, flipped it and signed an executive order to make sure the eagle always faced toward the olive branches. Note, after World War II, he signed this. It was an executive order to place it this way, specifically, so that it showed up in all of our media with its head turning toward the olive branches. And please don't tell me it's this, because it's not this. And it's not this, and it's not this, and it's not this. This is the seal of the United States, just facing a different way.
That one billionaire you just interviewed, how do you meet these people?
The way I met Thomas Petterfy, who's like the richest man in Florida, was a cold email saying that we wanted to do a video with him, and he responded in the most gangster way possible. He said, okay. And then he sent a calendar invite with his address, and we just pulled up.
There's no way.
Yeah.
How do you get his
That
email?
must be the best cold email of all time.
Wait, first of all, how do you get his email? What did you say in the email?
She did all the work. My girlfriend, she tracked down, found his private email, sent him a nice message sharing my brand and what I'm all about, and we got the okay. And we pulled up to his house. He has this $100 million mansion in Palm Beach, which is like one of the most expensive zip codes in the world. And we got there. There was a butler there. He shook my hand. He greeted me. He's like, Mr. Petterfy, we'll see you soon. Please go sit over there. And 5 minutes later, this guy comes out, treats me with nothing but respect, by the way. Like, you expect a billionaire to kind of be like stuck up. No, total respect. And we had a great conversation. We hung out with him for like almost an hour.
He's a direct bloodline of Vlad the Impaler, the OG Dracula.
Facts. Prince Charles is a direct descendant of Vlad the Impaler, the 15th century ruler infamous for impaling his enemies on stakes. Vlad wasn't just a brutal warlord. Legends say he bled from his eyes and may have actually consumed blood. Familiar? That's Dracula. The book and the movies, all based on him. Now, Charles didn't just acknowledge this connection, he leaned into it. He bought Vlad's actual castle in Transylvania, keeps it ancient, untouched, no renovations, no modern upgrades. Since 1998, he's made it his personal retreat, visiting every spring. I mean, who does that? And Transylvania? It's like stepping back in time. Old world farms, crumbling houses, not a car in sight. What's Charles doing there? Reenacting Vlad's life? Channeling his inner Dracula? It's hard not to wonder. Look, maybe he's just fascinated by history, or maybe he's embracing more than just his heritage. After all, why own Dracula's castle? This is just scratching the surface of royal mysteries.
This is just a theory, not a fact. Have y'all ever been to like a concert, maybe a music festival or a sporting event where there's thousands of people in the same vicinity, and you just think to yourself, every single one of the people in this venue lives their own life, makes their own choices, and goes through their own things? Or have you ever looked yourself in the mirror and be like, damn, like, I'm really living in this world. Like, I'm right here, right now, living on planet Earth. That feeling is what we call Sonder. And no, it's not this Sonder. It's this Sonder, which is an actual word in the dictionary, which is the realization that every single person lives their own complex life. Even though you come across a lot of people in your lifetime, you'll just never know what it feels like to live in that person's shoes because they live their own complex life. Maybe I'm alone in thinking this, but I think about this more often than you think. Because even thinking about some of your favorite celebrities or maybe some of your favorite athletes, do you ever think to yourself like, yo, what is LeBron James doing right now in this very moment? You know what I'm saying? But you'll just never know because you're not LeBron James. I think Sonder is a very interesting phenomenon that doesn't get talked about much, but it's something I think about often. Let me know in the comments if y'all agree here.
Money is debt. School makes you stupid. Half of what we call medicine is drugs, and half of what we call drugs is medicine. Religion makes you ignorant of true spirituality. Possession is an idea. Power is a concept, and we are all God. Money.
And make sure you say it louder for the bitches in the back.
The most racist countries in the world. 9. South Korea. 8. South Africa.
Xenophobia.
7. Malaysia.
I didn't know that.
6. Palestine.
Palestine.
5. Kuwait.
Kuwait? Really?
4. Philippines.
Filipinos? Okay, I didn't know that.
3. India. 2. Lebanon.
Lebanon, okay.
1. Bahrain.
Bahrain, okay. Alright, most of them are Arab countries.
The true meaning behind St. Patrick's Day is crazy.
You mentioned
Crazy.
The magic of believing. It changes how you broadcast a frequency and changes your field so that you actually become an attractor field. The whole you becomes an attractor field. When you're in this state, you can change outcomes and change them in your favor. And you start becoming lucky. But unless you have vision, and unless you take massive and immediate action, nothing will produce. You have to do the work. You have to dream big. You have to see the potential. And you do these things, the universe will continue to make you luckier and luckier and luckier because you're taking advantage of what they're providing. Attracting into your life is really becoming lucky. And you can become luckier than you are right now. And that is very significant to success.
The woman that came on here and said regulating your nervous system will fix all of your problems was 100% correct. Having anxiety, regulate. Are you having money concerns? Regulate. Are you having relationship concerns? Regulate. Our nervous system is communicating with our mind all of the time. So if you are stuck in fight or flight mode, when you are dysregulated, when you are in that survival mode, of course, your mindset is going to be shitty and you're always going to be concerned and you're always going to be worrying about something. Regulating does not need to be that complicated. A lot of it is going back to the basics of like slowing down, taking deep breaths, getting sunlight, going on a walk, spending time in nature. I have a whole PDF in my bio of over 10 ways to regulate your nervous system if you want to learn more ways. And it talks about how the key to regulating is consistency. Trying to do something every day to intentionally regulate your nervous system will change your life, I promise you.
The Weeknd's new album talks about the firmament, the end times, and the music industry taking singers to hell. A couple of you guys told me to look at Timeless by The Weeknd and Playboi Carti. He says, "City on fire when I'm coming home, fill up the sky, I fill up the dome, the firmament, They all know about the firmament. All the people fooling the masses, they all know. It's obvious to them, and they're laughing at us. I got a priest, he got a cross, get out of line, send him to God. I shed a tear, pray for a loss, oh yeah. So the video for this has some really interesting visuals. Here it looks like they're in hell, and take notice of this hell mouth. If you guys are familiar with Travis Scott's Astro World, he has very similar imagery. They're taking from this painting called Christ in Limbo. This is on the outer circle of hell. There's like a giant being that swallows people that are going to hell. And there's all different pictures of Hellmouth. Then we had a close-up of hell with the full moon in the background. Then a quick flash of a sign that says paradise. Playboi Carti flashing his pentagram necklaces. The Weeknd doing an Illuminati symbol. He did it like 5 times. This is just 2 pictures. But I want to draw your attention to the album. It's called Hurry Up Tomorrow, and the picture is him screaming in agony. But look at the song list. Wake Me Up featuring Justice, Until We're Skin and Bones, Baptized in Fear, Open Hearts, Opening Night, Reflections Laughing, Enjoy the Show featuring Future, Given Up on Me, I Can't Wait to Get There, Take Me Back to LA, Big Sleep, Give Me Mercy, The Abyss, Red Terror, Without a Warning, and then Hurry Up Tomorrow. Give Me Mercy. Conversations with the Sky, Mercy on My Soul, Things I Should Have Known, Master of Deceptive Lies. Every time I lost my way, I lost my faith. Devil Tricks with Paradise, None of It Is True. Fighting for your light, hoping that it's worth all the bleeding. Big Sleep. Well, you used up your borrowed life and you wasted your borrowed time. Big Sleep, Big Sleep. You barely put up a fight, ready for the forever night. I can't wait to get there. The darkness keeps you shining. Just sign on the dotted line. I can't wait to get there. Guys, this is not just art. All Christians are screaming from the rooftops that we're in the last minutes of the end times. The entertainment industry has been putting subtle hints out, and now we have stuff that's this obvious. Stop listening to this crap and get right with Jesus. He is coming back soon.
That shit real shit, I'm saying. How much are you?
For what? A haircut? 3,500? 3,500?
You said what?
Emojis are demonic sigils? What are you saying?
Yeah, the original 72 emojis. They're not just little faces, not just cute little symbols we throw around in texts. No, they're demonic sigils. Actual sigils. Spells. Hidden right in plain sight. You ever heard of the Lesser Key of Solomon, the ancient book? The book where King Solomon wrote down symbols to control and summon demons. You know how many there were? 72. 72! Same number as the first emojis ever created for Windows, Mac, iOS, everywhere. Coincidence? Nah. Look at this. See the laughing emoji? The one with the X's for eyes? That's a sigil. The tongue emoji? Exact match with a demonic seal. Look at this one. Come on. This one. Look at the zipper mouth emoji. You think that's random? No. It's a symbol for silence. A spell. And check this out. See the one with the teeth? The big, exaggerated grin? Compare it to this ancient sigil. It's identical. Identical! You still think this is an accident? A fluke? Man, every single emoji we've been using, laughing, crying, even the damn heart emoji, it's all part of something bigger. We've been using these symbols for years, not knowing what they really mean. So when you send that little yellow face, ask yourself, what are you really summoning?
This is just a theory, not a fact.
Okay.
Casanet went to Playboi Carti's Rolling Loud performance, and he found out just how demonic shit really get. If I was Kai in that situation, and I seen what I seen from one of Playboi Carti mans, I'm walking off the set. I don't give a fuck about no VIP. You and everybody else there that was on that Rolling Loud set was welcomed into that ritual. They even had to stop the set midway through because they said 10 people passed out. Look, y'all. People still don't understand. So as you heard, 10 people had passed out in the crowd during his set. I do not know if anybody had passed away, but that's crazy, y'all. This is the dude I'm talking about, though. Look at this. Look at this man, y'all. Watch what he throw up. He praising him right in front of everybody's face. Watch Kai. I'm telling y'all, this is what his music is about. It looked like hell on stage. I don't know what to tell y'all. That is not hip hop. That's scream hop. That's emo music. And I'm kind of upset at Kai. If you can make that face with your eyes big like this, and you like, what the is going on? Why would you still get on stage? You have the motion. You don't need that kind of motion. That shit turned that boy into an animal on stage. He ripped his tank top and everything, not knowing that that music is the reason why he was acting like that. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down below in the comments. Make sure you like, comment, and share.
Tempted by every one of these places? Now I just want to know where the business center is. Hard to concentrate with waves gently lapping on the shore. Marge, you sure you want to do this?
I think I still want the old you.
Everyone down below the belt! Move, move, move! Don't leave anything up here! We will not be back!
So many stars. Ever wonder how many worlds are out there, homie?
Pizza. What pizza? And you.
That's my man.
Next on...
I can find out whether you are a sociopath.
Ooh, tell me.
2 minutes or less.
Go, go, go. This is good.
It's a little riddle. A man shows up at a funeral. He goes to grieve the dead body at the wake. He sees a woman near the casket, and they exchange a glance. The man leaves. The funeral wraps up. A week later, that man kills that woman's mother. Why?
Because that woman's mother was the mistress of his father.
You're not a sociopath.
Oh, why? What is it?
Because he wanted to see her again, the woman. Now, let me tell you something.
But did you see how I went with women cheating?
But can I tell you, everybody's so
my biggest fear.
So the sociopath gets that like this. And let me tell you where I got this test from. Somebody who used to be in my life, that person's father was a psychiatrist in one of the worst prisons in America. And they would actually do this test on the patients.
Do you mind if I share something with you that humanity has never seen before? Okay, I will. This came to me after I got back from a plant medicine ceremony, an ayahuasca ceremony, and it was after the 17th time of watching the movie Interstellar. Now, if you have not watched the movie Interstellar, I highly suggest that you watch it. So, one day I asked the question, how do human beings actually create their physical reality? How? When you start understanding these laws of the universe, sometimes we call it the Hermetic principles, the second one says the law of correspondence. The law of correspondence says, as above, so below, meaning whatever's happening on one plane, there's a corresponding result happening on the plane below. We know that the three planes of existence are the spiritual plane, the mental plane, the physical plane, in that order. Spirit, mind, body. Not mind, body, spirit. It is spirit, mind, and body. Starting with the highest vibration, going down to the lower vibration. Now, I know that on the physical plane, we have these things that we call physics. These are the laws that govern the physical reality. Regardless of what your race is, regardless of how much money you have, regardless of what your life looks like, these laws of physics apply to everything and everyone. Now, I said to myself, if there's laws of physics, there would also have to be something that's the same on the mental plane. And this is what we call the Hermetic principles. Hence the second law, which is the law of correspondence. So then I started asking myself, what is gravity? After watching Interstellar for the 17th time, there was a clip within the movie where Cooper, Matthew McConaughey, talks about how gravity is the only thing that can transcend space and time. And then there was something else in the movie that said, love is the only thing that can be perceived, that can transcend time and space. So I started to ask the question, wait a minute, is gravity and love the same thing? So if you can see here, Isaac Newton, Sir Isaac Newton, who's actually an alchemist as well. Sir Isaac Newton's law of universal gravitation, you can see this equation right there. You see that? The force of gravity times the gravitational constant times the mass of one object times the mass of another object divided by the resistance squared. Wait a minute. If this is what the equation for gravity is, stating that universal gravitation describes gravity as a force by stating that every particle attracts every other particle in the universe with a force that is proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the center of their masses. Now, why is that important? I'm going to tell you why. That's important because it says that the center of every object will always be attracted to the center of another object based on the mass of the objects. So an object that has more mass, like the sun in our solar system, every single body that is within a certain amount of distance from that mass will be attracted to the center. This is why we go around the sun, or why the moon goes around the earth. It's because of the gravitational pull. So I started to say to myself, well, if it's happening on the physical level, it would have to happen on the metaphysical or the energetic plane or the spiritual plane. What is that? Think about what attracts people. Love. 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 Not human love, not lust. Love. It's the attractional force. Now, I have a quick story to tell you. Years ago, when I was having my, I guess you want to call it spiritual awakening, I was reading the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and he talked about having an invisible cabinet. And the invisible cabinet was basically these metaphysical or these energetic beings that you could call on based on what you wanted information from. So I had a cabinet, a council of 12 individuals. It was Jesus was there, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Solomon from the Bible, Martin Luther King, Mahatma Gandhi, Albert Einstein. I'm missing a couple others, but I invited Bill Gates, and then after that one I said, no, you got to go out of here, Billy. But I got to ask them each a question. And I asked Albert Einstein, what's the most important thing in this physical universe? And Albert Einstein responded, the most important thing in this universe cannot be quantified by science. It is what we call love.
Whoa.
Love is the thing that attracts one object to another. Think about when you love somebody. You will go to the ends of earth because you love them, you are attracted to them. We see this happen all of the time. So when you start to understand the gravity equation, now you can start understanding what I have developed called the abundance acceleration formula. So this right here is the abundance acceleration formula. And you see, all we did was change out the variables for gravity, and we put in the variables that would be able to substitute so you could manifest the reality of whatever you wanted on a metaphysical level. So if we look at this L, that stands for love, or the force that creates attraction on a metaphysical level. U is the universal constant, which is trust, surrendering, faith. No man can ever create without faith, trust, and surrender. E1 is the energetic signature, the frequency of you. E2 is the energetic frequency of the thing that you desire. It could be a relationship. It could be an amount of money. It could be a car. It doesn't matter what it is. It is the energetic signature of whatever the thing is that you desire to create in your physical reality. D squared. D squared is the distance squared. The distance squared. What is the distance? Well, let's understand that the only thing that separates E1 from E2 is this thing that we call distance. Let's use this as an example. Say you want to create, you want to manifest a new car. Okay, you think about what your frequency is now. You live in scarcity, you live in lack. That is the complete opposite of the frequency of you having that E squared, which is that car. So ask yourself, if you had that car, how would you feel? I would feel prosperous, I would feel free, I would feel at peace. Okay, then that means E1 is separate from E2 because there's distance. What is the distance? Limiting beliefs, fears, scarcity, wounds that need to be healed. So this is why healing was everything. Because when you went back and healed past wounds or got rid of limiting beliefs, you just reduced the distance. And because the distance is squared, you reduce it exponentially. It's through compounding. So if you can go back and heal the part of you that lived in fear, that maybe developed this wound of scarcity or there was trauma, you have just reduced your distance this much. And now E squared and E1 get closer together. And the goal is to get close enough so that your energetic signature has created such a metaphysical gravity well, just as every other object of mass in our universe does, you will be able to attract that thing into your life. So if you were to look at Einstein's theory of relativity, of course, we know he came up with E equals mc squared. E equals mc squared states that energy and matter are equal times the c squared, which is the constant, which is light. So energy and matter, energy and mass, they're the same thing. So what you feel creates an energetic gravity well, and it starts to cave space and time, and you start to pull that thing into you, just like everything on this physical plane. So this is why, as the universe, so the soul as the universe. Use this equation to help you create whatever it was. It doesn't matter what it is. You can use it for anything. Plug it in, and you will start to see how easy it is for you to create anything that you desire in this physical thing that we call life.
France is asking for the Statue of Liberty back, y'all. They want their statue back. Y'all could go and look up the title of this article. It's titled, Donald Trump Ordered to Return the Statue of Liberty After Mass Sackings. For those of you who may not know, the Statue of Liberty was created by a French artist, and it was gifted to the United States about 140 years ago. Now, because of all of this bullshit that Donald Trump has gotten the United States involved in, a French lawmaker actually suggested, how about y'all just give us back the statue? How about you give her back? Return her back home. Raphael Glucksmann said, we're going to say to the Americans who have chosen to side with the tyrants, to the Americans who fired researchers for demanding scientific freedom, give us back the Statue of Liberty. Oh, he goes on to say, we gave it to you as a gift, but apparently you despise it. So it will be just fine here at home. This is more from Glucksmann. You want to fire your best researchers. If you want to fire all the people who, through their freedom and their sense of innovation, their taste of doubt and research, have made your countries the world's leading power, then we're going to welcome them. Again, just giving you guys a little back story. The Statue of Liberty was originally supposed to be a black woman who was shackled with chains, and it was supposed to represent the new freed black people that emerged from the Americas. At the inscription of her feet reads, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. And we already know with the whole French Revolution and everything like that, they don't really like to be silenced. They don't like the idea of citizens, the masses, being silenced. And because the Statue of Liberty is supposed to be a symbol of liberty, justice, and democracy, they feel like everything that Trump is doing right now is a direct slap in the face to what the Statue of Liberty represents. And so they want her back. I told you that Donald Trump is going to be accredited in history as probably one of the worst presidents of the United States. And the fact that they want to come back, the French want to come back and take a gift that was gifted to the United States 140 years ago, something that is literally synonymous with the United States of America. I'm telling you, America is doomed, bro. It's over. Say goodbye to being a leading world power. It's a wrap.
Here's how this roller coaster kills you. Each cart fits 24 people, and they put you all up this 1,600-foot tower. And when you get to the top, people can choose to get off and leave or keep riding. And they choose this by pressing a button. This is for like death row patients, and it's like another way for them to die that's like a little more fun and exciting, or humane, elegant, and euphoric in the designer's words. Once they decide they want to go down, they go down the tower at 220 miles per hour. That's really fast. So the 7 loop-de-loops on this ride get smaller and smaller, and this puts the body under so much stress that the brain is starved of oxygen and the heart can't push up enough blood under all of that G-force. But this ride is pretty much designed to be so crazy that you lose consciousness and pass away because your body can't take it. They have a monitor on you, so if you survive the first time, they'll just put you through again. Also, if you're interested in watching a POV of this ride, I already have it posted. If you like my content, follow my TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube for more. It really helps when you interact.
Whoa, I didn't know that. Man, these videos were mind-bending. These videos were crazy. Can I say that? Yes. I think some were very crazy and informative, and some very creepy too as well. I mean, this was a variety of a whole lot of, you know, crazy videos, which, in, how do you call it, which comes together to make it a very great video, because I've learned a lot today and it was nice. So if you come to the end of the video, born winners, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and also share with your friends, and also click on the notification bell icon so that any video that I post, you will be the first to get it. Adios amigos, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye.